I am so happy that you're able to join us for this extended interview. Make sure to visit theoffbeatlife.com. Again, that's theoffbeatlife.com to get more killer resources. Hey friend, are you looking to land a remote gig ASAP? Well, did you know that we not only have a ton of online jobs you can apply to on our site, but now we're also sending them straight to your inbox. I'm happy to announce that we will be sending our email subscribers legit online jobs every Wednesday. We have done hours of research, so you don't have to. If you want to be the first one to hear about the remote gigs we find, go to theoffbeatlife.com to subscribe. Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming back for this extended interview with Derek, where he's going to share his LEAP formula, where he's going to share the quantum leap to have more impact and to push your limits to running a successful business. Hey Derek, how are you?
Debbie, I'm doing great.
Thank you so much. Before we get to all of your amazing tips for us, can you tell us a little bit more about you and why you live an offbeat life?
Yeah, I consider myself to be an explorer, and I both explore by traveling and conducting self-experiments. And in my own life, I used to be a pro cyclist, and I still do a lot of racing. So I'm bringing also my science background into experimenting in my own life, and just kind of bringing this adventurous way of living, trying to do that with everything I do, which means I'm continually getting uncomfortable. I'm continually trying new things and bringing a spirit of playfulness and treating a lot of life like a game, which just makes it more fun.
Well, you've certainly gone to and had a lot of adventures in your life. And now you're going to be sharing with us how we can all take the leap as well with your 4 pillars. Can you tell us more about it and how we can turn ourselves from mediocre to really successful? Because we all want that, of course.
Yeah, and this is basically my own journey as well. I always thought I was destined for greatness, and I had a lot of support along the way, great education, great family, a lot of opportunity, all these things. And yet I thought I'm underperforming. I'm not contributing to society. My business is not reaching as many people as I think it could. And so this was basically over the last 6 or 7 years in creating my own business. This is the process that I've gone through. So the 4 pillars, the LEAP method is actually an acronym that I made up, which I used to be a scientist, and gosh, these scientists, they're so nerdy. They come up with these acronyms. They discover a new cancer fighting compound and they come up with this clever acronym for it that spells out like a dumb little name. Anyway, so that's where I got my penchant for acronyms. But so the 4 pillars here in the LEAP method are, first, the Thought Leaders MBA. And I work with a lot of thought leaders. These are coaches, authors, speakers, podcasters. These pieces, I've decided, I've uncovered that you really need all the pillars in order to make the biggest impact. And with the Thought Leaders MBA, this is just the basics of businessing. That's what we call it, businessing. So, that covers your sales and your marketing and your networking and your self-expression and your creativity and your leadership, learning how to create new products. All of these pieces are on the business side. Then you've got your own personal, mental mastery or peak performance. And this is what I'm bringing from the world of pro sports, right? The focus, the high performance psychology, the identity and habit formation, how this influences everything that you do, mental models to structure how you're learning. So it's about how you progress and master the skills that you need, right? And so when you have both the MBA skills and the sort of peak performance side of things, that's when you can start operating like a CEO in your life. So if you're missing one of those pieces, you might have the business skills without the peak performance. You're just going to experience sort of plateaus at your business, or it's not going to really feel like you're a CEO yet. You're going to compare to other peers that have these 2 pieces. You'll find that you just can't grow the business as much because it comes down to your identity. So Another piece is the adventure side. And, this is something that I've built into my whole life, adventure, but is also really important for being on the cutting edge with your business, or as a thought leader, really figuring out where there's space for you to be influential and help people and change people's thinking. This includes, the element of play, getting into flow states, understanding the hero's journey, but also applying gamification, incentives and up-leveling, and how you can get more participation with your customers. So adventure is just this mindset that also teaches you, about how to take appropriate risks, how to build confidence, which is super important. But combining the adventure piece really allows you to, when you get to the point where you're highly skilled and adventurous, right, then you're on the creative edge. You're the person that is doing something that's never been done before. And these are the types of people that are shaping our world. And that's really where I think a lot of us want to be, is doing something that's never been done. As Peter Thiel puts it, going from 0 to 1 versus, just going from 1 to 1.1. It's better than making a slightly better mousetrap. It's inventing something totally new. So that's where the adventure piece comes in. And then what I think is really important, and I've started to incorporate this more in my own life, is, you could call it the spiritual side or the metaphysical side. I've been exploring a lot with breath work and meditation, lucid dreaming, and understanding your sort of soul's purpose or your higher calling and how it fits in with the rest of humanity's experience. Relying on ancient wisdom from different traditions around the world, this helps your business be in alignment with who you are. And when you're not in alignment, when you're doing something just for the money, or just because somebody else is telling you it's a good idea or that you'd be good at it, you're going to keep running up against things just not flowing smoothly. You might make a lot of money, and then all of a sudden your motivation falls off, because if you're out of alignment with really your highest good, things just aren't going to click. So this allows all of the business to just kind of flow naturally out of you. And I get the sense, Debbie, that from the outside, you're starting to find this alignment. It seems like now that you're really allowing this creative expression from yourself, that I'm guessing your business will continue to accelerate the more in alignment you are, which is super cool to see. Like, you can tell, right, when people are living who they're supposed to be from the outside, because they're smiling, they're enthusiastic, business is just clicking for them. And so that's an important part of the piece as well, is just understanding your place in the larger spiritual sense of all this. So those are the 4 pillars of the LEAP method.
This is so interesting, because I'm literally writing all of this stuff down, Derek, as you're saying them. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I think I'm in the middle of this one too. So it's really interesting that you have this, because it does make sense. It really makes sense. Like, all of this has to align, because you're right. If one of them isn't, or if you don't have one of them yet, there's something missing still. And wow, this is actually pretty amazing, and it makes so much sense. I'm like, oh my God, Derek, yes. Oh my God, yes.
Wow, I love it. Yeah, it's great. I'm super thrilled to hear your reaction to it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're just doing these things, right? But we don't actually put it into words, or we don't put it in writing. But then when somebody actually writes it down or explains it to us, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're doing this. So is this going to be a book, or is this going to be part of your coaching method? How is this going to be aligned with your business?
Yeah, exactly. So this is what I teach my clients. This the LEAP formula is what we take people through. And once you sort of understand these pillars and the system, then we can start finding what's missing and then go about training it. So are there specific skills, there are specific habits, is there specific identity that we want you to move towards? And then we create actual experiences for people so that they can not just, learn, about it, not just sort of know it or understand it, but to actually experience something so you can know it on a deep level. So you actually have to, go out and do these comfort zone challenges, or you actually have to take on some of these. So a lot of what I coach is creating the experience for people to become the person that they actually want to be. So the way I explain it is, a lot of people think, okay, I'm at point A and I want to go to point B. And there's some process, there's some time involved from going to point A to point B, whether that's, growing your business or a happy relationship or whatever. But where I teach people to operate from is to start at point B. Who would you be if you already had what you want? So you're already at point B. If you can live your life from that place, then your experience is not based on waiting for the external world to validate this. And then you can build, your experience and your business and all of these other things based on point B instead of point A. That's a big part of it too, is knowing what you want to experience, what you want to feel, and then operating from there to start with.
I love that, because then you actually see some sort of result, right? Because I think a lot of people want it right away. And if it takes too long, then they just give up. But to make you feel like you already are in some way in the next level of that will be really helpful.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, right, we ultimately want to feel something like peace. And that might come from a successful business or a great romantic partnership or all of these things. But you don't have to wait to have those things to feel peace. You can create the thought patterns, the emotions already in your life, any particular moment. And so then what kind of amazing business or relationship could you create if you are already operating from a place of peace, for example?
Yeah, that's definitely something we can all think about, because it's a lot of times we're just putting so much pressure on ourselves that you forget why you did it in the first place, and you just burn out and you're not in a place of peace anymore.
Yeah. And so going back to, right, let's say a system, right? Can you create a system for your life that supports generating the feeling of peace? So maybe that's just scheduling certain times in your day to slow down and come back to that feeling. So then it's coming back to, right, what does a high performer and what does a CEO do to generate the conditions in their life to make these things happen?
And a lot of that is actually breathing and focusing again. And it's not just work, work, work and hustle, hustle, hustle. If you're just working to work, then that's really not going to serve you in the long run. Yeah,
one thing that I find, especially with people that have grown up with the hustle mentality, or they've gotten a lot of messaging like, you got to grind it out, it's got to feel hard. That's just not true. And so they rush from one task to the next, or they're trying to multitask, and it just kind of starts to become stressful and overwhelming. So we really focus on the transition points. You sit down, maybe you're writing a blog post or something like that. When you finish, before you start your next task, or before you close your computer for the day to go interact with your friends or family, you reset yourself. You sort of mentally wrap what you've just been working on, leave all the emotions and thoughts that were part of that thing behind, and like you said, breathe and sort of come back to a neutral place, and then decide, okay, what am I doing next? If it's, okay, I'm going to eat dinner next with my family, how do I want to show up? Who do I want to be during dinner? And it allows you to come to each activity throughout your day with some clarity and intent around what's the best way you want to show up. And it might be different, right? In your meeting, you want to show up as a powerful leader, but all of a sudden at dinner time, you want to show up as, interested and playful around your family. So it allows you to understand exactly at each moment throughout the day how you want to be showing up, not bring through the trash from the last thing you were doing.
Yeah, I love that. I definitely agree with that. And I think that's a lot of the things. What we do is we take issues and problems with us from one stage to the next, and it just all goes in together like a garbage dump. And then you have bad relationships with your family, your friends, when things are not going right in one instance of your life. So that is a really great practice to have. Thank you so much, Derek, for giving us all of these amazing tips, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more of you. If our listeners want to know more about you, where can they find you?
Yeah, the best place to find me is at derekloudermilk.com. You can find about all the different things that I'm up to, and my podcast is The Art of Adventure.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Derek. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Debbie.
I hope you enjoyed this extended interview with Derek. Make sure to visit theoffbeatlife.com. Again, that's theoffbeatlife.com to get his full interview where he shares how he became a remote business strategist. Hey friend, have you been wanting to start a podcast? I know it can be overwhelming in the beginning. Believe me, I have been there. Lucky for you, we have created a new site called howtocreateapodcast.com that shares a ton of freebies that can help you get started. From launching, growing to monetizing, we share it all in one place. Visit howtocreateapodcast.com for more information. Thanks for joining me on this extended interview. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. We can also chat some more on Facebook at The OB Life. I'll talk to you soon.